I'm Caitlin Coombs with energeticcity.ca, and welcome to Council Corner, powered by the City of Fort St. John. Today we are talking to Mayor Lilia Hansen, and instead of our usual recap of the most recent council meeting, we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different today, and we're going to be doing a recap of all of 2024. So, Mayor, how are you doing today?
Good day. Excellent.
Wonderful. So to get us started, there were a lot of projects that either broke ground or finished up this year. The new seniors housing project broke ground this year. How's that been going in recent months, and what's the project looking like heading into the new year?
Really excited about the progress that we're seeing with the BRS senior complex. We're looking forward to 115 units for seniors.
Wonderful.
And we believe the opening date is going to be in 2026.
Okay, wonderful. And sticking with the downtown theme, if I can, 100th Street has reopened.
Yes.
How did those upgrades go?
Fantastic, and on time and on budget, which is really important as a council. Those upgrades were desperately needed because of the infrastructure, just the aging infrastructure. We want to make sure that our businesses and our residents have good, clean drinking water and working sewer system.
Those are both very important things alongside on budget and on time.
There's many things that we can be forgiven for, but we have to make sure that we have roads, water, and sewer.
Definitely. And Kin Park has also been a hit with residents, especially after the upgrades. How have those been going?
Really positive feedback. And it's something that we listen to the community. We'd have our community engagement, talking to residents, what would you like to see? And Fort St. John, we love our parks. And there was different ideas that were shared with us, so we encompassed that into our parks. Definitely the pump track that opened up this year, huge hit. We had kids and adults eagerly waiting to get on, and if you got an advance ride on the pump track before we even opened the gates, that's how excited they were. And as well, our skating surfaces, we have the ice in, so we have ice in at Matthews Park for the ribbon, and the skating surfaces at Kin Park are also open. It looks beautiful.
Wonderful. And skating is such a festive thing. You have to enjoy things when it's negative 24 outside.
I agree. We go for a lot of walks through the park, and it doesn't matter what time of day. There's paths, and we have, there's asphalt and different surfaces, but it's lit in the evening, and it's very beautiful. It's kind of magical as you walk through there in the evening to see all the beautiful hoarfrost on the trees right now.
Absolutely. And another significant topic that's been on people's mind this year is Site C, which is kind of nearing completion. The reservoir's filled. They're starting to turn things on in there. How's that project been from Fort St. John's point of view?
With Site C, that has been something that residents from the area, everyone has had their own opinion and reasons for it, and those reasons have to be respected. From our point of view, it's what can we do to support our community and our businesses? We now have legacy funds now that it's generating power at Site C, and we'll be able to put those dollars back into supporting our residents and our nonprofits.
Wonderful. And they're into another major project that's been on people's minds lately. There have been a lot of meetings and surveys about the North Peace Leisure Facility. I know there's a lot going on behind closed doors, but what can you tell us about that?
The North Peace Leisure Pool, it's a facility that is owned by the Peace River Regional District, and we sit at the table as one of the financial contributors. I am very eager to see us get a replacement swimming pool as quick as possible, but as you know, these things definitely take time, and we have to make sure that we come in at a budgetary amount that's palatable to the taxpayers, and that is something that we're definitely hearing. We've had 3 rounds of engagement, and when we went back out to the community with estimates for a 25-meter pool with and without an attached multiplex, the residents were saying to us, that's just too much. We can't afford that. So we've asked staff to go back to the table, reach out to partners, see what we can find for partnerships and what grants are available. And we need to have all the work done in advance before we go to a referendum if we want it to be successful. Work is still going, and we hope to have more to announce in 2025.
Wonderful. And definitely taking your time with it. I mean, you can get a pool tomorrow, but it would bankrupt everybody, and then nobody's happy. So it's important to take your time with these sort of things.
It's important to take time, but I think what's most important is that we're listening to the residents. What is it that they want? What are their priorities? What we build, it has to be something that is built for today, but also for the expansion as our community grows. Definitely the price tag that comes with it. Nobody wants to push something through that somebody can't afford.
No, certainly. And the Doig River First Nation Urban Reserve broke ground this year. How's that project been so far?
Notche Commons, we're proud to be part of this. When there's an economic growth and that partnership, it's a shared growth from the community and with Doig. Their staff has been a pleasure to work with. There's been a lot of work that's gone on over the years to see this come to fruition, and we're pleased to see the pace that it's going, and we look forward to having joining in on their they've got their groundbreaking, but for their opening day.
Wonderful. And the council has been very busy, not just with projects. Earlier this year, the council created a committee on housing and emergency shelter.
Correct.
How's that committee been going so far?
They have been very active, regular meetings, and not only as a group, but also going out to the business community and talking to them. What they're trying to do is they're trying to gather statistics and facts, but they're also seeing what's working in other communities or what hasn't worked, and then they'll bring a report back to council.
Okay, so lots of research ahead of anything else, really.
Yeah, you want to make sure, we're not making the same, trying to avoid what stumbling blocks that other communities have faced. And we need to find something that's going to work for our community. Just because something works in one area or didn't work doesn't mean it's not going to work in ours, and vice versa. And I think it's important as well that we do have the community engagement and having those face-to-face meetings with residents and businesses to see how they're being affected by social issues.
All right. And Fort St. John councillors and yourself also went to the Union of British Columbia Municipalities this year. I remember we talked about it before, especially considering the provincial election that happened around that time. How was that experience for Fort St. John?
Fort St. John, we're very fortunate. We do get just about all of our minister meeting requests, and I don't think many communities are as fortunate as we are. Perhaps it's the size of our community, but it's also trying to have the dialogue. When we go there with our issues, we always try to come with some possible solutions or things that will meet what our community needs. And I think that is where the difference factor is on that. Now that we have new ministers that have been sworn in, we're waiting for them to get their letters. And going forward with that, I would like to see council have a face-to-face meeting outside of UBCM where we have a meeting with specific ministers and to address issues in our community. The difference with that between going to UBCM, I can't imagine the ministers' schedules. They must be exhausted. We want to have more time with the ministers and have a fulsome dialogue on it, and also with their staff to see, what can we work together on.
All right. And kind of looking a little bit more local, there's been some great advances that, as we've been discussing, but there have also been some unfortunate announcements. The Canform mill closure is unfortunately one of those. What are some of the things the city has done in response to the mill closure?
The Canfor's closure announcement back in September was heartbreaking. I can't imagine those families, those workers going home to tell their spouses and their partners that they lost their job through no fault of their own. And so many reasons, when it comes to forestry as to the slowdown, whether it's tariffs, whether it's stumpage fees, sometimes it's government policy. There's unintended consequences. The City of Fort St. John has come together with other organizations. We have a community transition table, and we've been working over the last 3 months trying to make sure that we try and get those services and answers for the employees. Things like, if you get a payout, how's that going to affect their employment insurance? Or, hey, I'm just about at retirement. What is there? who's going to hire me at this age? Do we need to connect them with a federal program, bridging to retirement? Is there something we can do for skills training, working with Northern Lights College or employment connections? Do we need to connect them with Community Futures or the Hub Space? Maybe they want to start or expand a home-based business that they already have. Meeting with the staff, the HR staff from CAN4 has been an eye-opener. I have to say, the feeling I get is CAN4 is a family, and the HR staff, they're very protective of their coworkers, and they wanted to make sure that the government recognized that, and that any dealings we do, we're working hard and we're being as respectful as possible. These families, their Christmas is going to be different, and it's the unknown and the uncertainty of what's coming in January for them.
Okay. And there have been local and regional struggles with healthcare closures, emergency room and department closures. How has this been in Fort St. John?
When it comes to hospital ER diversions, regrettably province-wide, it has been an issue, and we do see those numbers increasing. Fort St. John, I think because of the size of our community, we've been some of the last to have diversions and closures when it's possible. Sometimes Northern Health will take staff from another hospital to keep our doors open on that. And with the city, we're definitely working with Northern Health and with the Peace River Regional District and Northern Lights College and Union of BC. How do we fill these job vacancies, and what can we do to work together?
All right. And how was wildfire season for the city? I know we had some evacuees stay from Fort Nelson, but looking back, how has the season been compared to previous years?
The last 2 years has been hair-back crazy. 2 years ago, the city of Fort St. John, we did call an evacuation alert. They definitely missed that in Candidate 101 training for counselors to discuss that. And last year, we hosted approximately 3,000 evacuees from Hudson's Hope here in Fort St. John. And it's something that, while we don't want to be proficient at, but we're definitely having a lot of experience, and we will always be there to look after our neighbors and what we can. And I'm very proud of our community, how they stepped up, whether it's residents and businesses and industry. Right away, the phone lit up, emails, what can I do to help? What do you need?
Wonderful. And kind of as an overview and a little bit more personal, what are you looking forward to in 2025?
2025, definitely moving ahead with the North Peace Leisure Pool. As well, we'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary for High on Ice.
Wonderful.
Looking forward to that. International Ice Carvers coming, and our fabulous ice slides. That's really, really popular. As council, we always have ideas that we're bringing forward to staff, and I know I keep those in my inbox and just try and share them in little increments, going, look what I saw, can we do that here in Fort St. John? Definitely also seeing the continued building of BRS apartments, but at most it's advocating for our community. We have new ministers in the province. We need to build those relationships, but we have to advocate and be the voice for our community. And that includes sometimes some uncomfortable conversations. And now with the federal government, there's been some announcements that were made today, so we'll see how that goes. When it comes to our community, we have to have jobs. We have to have the schools open and our emergency departments open. So what can we do to advocate for that? And a big part of that is we need to support our natural resource industries. If we want to have those social services, we have to have the dollars to fund it.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much, Mayor, for joining me today.
Thank you very much, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas.
You as well. That was Council Corner, powered by the City of Fort St. John. I'm Caitlin Coombs with energeticcity.ca. We'll see you next time.